All right, let's see what Chris has to say about this obvious chest supported machine high row. Machine's actually pretty dope.
Now I'm doing a higher elbows flared row. This is kind of mid-trap, rear delt combo, so more on my upper back. But I'm just trying to hit them all right now, and I love this machine right here. Huge thing on these, if you have long ass arms, you have to make sure the machine is like as pushed back as possible. It should be really hard to reach and start the first rep, but when you get going, it actually lets you have a 4 range of motion. A lot of people like are too long for the machine and they'll like click, and then they'll the weights will touch the bottom, and then they'll lower the range of motion, top that, and then you're missing part of the rep. So
we're gonna break it down even more, because the great thing about this lift is a lot of us are getting it confused. Chris at the beginning of this video said that he's trying to target upper trap, back, but mostly rear delts. And this is a rear delt movement. The only problem is a lot of people, when they do this machine, because there's so many machines like this that are like, they hit a little different. Chris is on the Prime machine, which has these awesome cool hands where you can just kind of like, you know, you just have way more freedom to get yourself in position, where this one, I have to basically adjust my body to that, which is fine. If you have this machine or something similar to it, you can basically take these guys like this, put them under, and you can perform basically as Chris Bumstead is and what he's doing. If you don't, then you got to stick to what you got, and that's this, right? That's actual acceptance. So when we're looking at this movement being an actual rear delt, upper trap, back part, because when you're training or if you're programming, some of you guys might want to put your rear delts on your back day if you're having trouble growing your rear delts. You know, put them on your shoulder day and your back day. You got 2 days of getting a little more volume in that area. Anyway, the biggest point of this is, again, that 4 range of motion coming from that end range, the start range, right? If you look at the job of the rear delt, and I'm saying using this machine primarily for rear delts, like me rowing this thing back this way or whatever is going to have aid with my rear delts, because they're gonna help do this. They're gonna help pull this thing back, retract it, right? But I wanna put more of the emphasis on here. I wanna make this thing have to pull this lever out further, right? If I go this way, it's not that long of a lever for my rear delt. But if I pull it this way, that elbow's gotta go all the way back here and all the way to the start. And the reason why he says adjust this thing here is because, like, look, I'm not that tall, right? If I get in a position where I'm, you know, protracted, pushing away, I'm not touching on the bottom. So when I do start, there's already a load already on the weight. But if you're long, well then you're here, then some people say, oh my God, it's touching, I can't have it touch because it's bad if it touches. Look, if it's bad if it touches, if you're not controlling, if you're just doing that kind of shit, right? That's bad if it touches. But if you're doing a rep and you're back and your end range is your set point and you're like touch and back, and you gotta consciously touch it without making any noise, right? That's allowed, completely allowed. It's just letting it bounce around and sound stupid, like they're smashing around and I have no clue what they're doing. So don't worry about if it hits the bottom. That's your end range. If it hits the bottom, and the bottom means or results in you being fully protracted, you know, consciously yet intentionally protracted, like what I was talking about, that's fine. And then our finished range is going to be not where it's here, because this is like, okay, if you think about it, this isn't really that good, right? We wanna be here, right? Letting it pull us down, and then getting those elbows up high. Now, adjust yourself, because we also don't want you internally rotating your elbows all the way up like this just so you can hit your rear delts. This isn't healthy. If you look at it, you really just want to be in a position where you can start here and finish here, right? Naturally, right? Doing this isn't going to really help your rear delts. It's going to really fall in position being like this. This is, you know, now, right? So same thing works, right? Pulling. Stack the joints, right? Look, the joints are stacked. The joints are stacked here. So however you have to adjust yourself from the bench to make sure when you're at your full range of that end range or the top of the range, you've still stacked the joint. Fists, wrists, and elbows are behind the weight. They're not here and they're not here, right? So I've adjusted myself. You can sit like this. You can sit back like this. The difference is less leverage, more leverage here. I can use this to pull, that's fine. There's no problem with that, but I can be here too if I want to, just to, you know, take away that leverage and make it a little bit harder. We're still gonna treat this the same way we did using the chest supported dumbbell rows. When we're pulling here, we're not just gonna be dripped over it, dripped. No one looks dripped like this. This looks drooped. This is drooped. There's no drip in this. Hashtag drip. This is hashtag drooped, and it looks terrible, right? You want to intentionally protracting. So we're here, wherever my feet are. I start from here, I'm engaged, and then I'm engaging my core and pulling it back. There's my full range of motion. From here, right, all the way through, right? You think about the lever where this elbow goes from here and ends up back here. This delt is doing more work to pull it back. So this becomes a delt workout. And you can also see how some people's, chest supported machine rows end up being shoulder exercises because their elbows are too high. They're doing this. They're like, this is really good, right? So we want to keep it here and squeezing and through, letting it open you up because we want this thing to stretch out, right? We want that delt to be just like holding on for dear life, like, oh, pull back, and then you're getting like just like a good contraction there. That's like, I don't know who gets excited for contractions, but I do. She's just, right, that's it. They're demonetized ASAP. So again, elbows are out to side, externally rotating a little bit, and all the way, just so the elbows are facing a little bit to the side. Then when you're pulling back, fists versus elbows are still aligned with the pull. And through, engaging the core, and you get to here. And you're opened up, and you get to here. With no weight on me, just holding this, my rear delts are on fire, I'm dead serious. And I wanna load this movement every single time. And again, you don't have to load this thing up. This is a very, very small muscle here, right? You don't have to load it up. You have to put on a weight that's gonna exhaust you for a lot more time and attention, right? I wouldn't take this movement and pile it with a weight and do like minimal reps of like 10 reps of like a really heavy weight. I would take like a, 70% of your 1 rep max. I want you to take it for longer than 10, between 10, 20 reps. Very similar for the back as well too, right? 10 to 20 reps. Give this some time to have to bring this arm from here to here and then back. Doing this for a longer time is gonna benefit this muscle than throwing a bunch of weight on here and then doing this and slamming it back, right? That's my advice with this. Anyway, that is it for today's video. If you guys use any of those cues, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys did like the video, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. I'm a couple that tell it is transparent, vulnerable truth. And for coaching, johnasheed.com. If you want to know more about my coaching, guys, book yourself a 15 or 30-minute consult. At the end of the consult, I deduct it off any package that you pick. Hit the description below for those discount codes or promo codes that help save your life or change your life for the better, like Johnny Tan for 10% on BlueStarNutraceuticals.com. Add me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. Send me your progress pics, your training pics, and your video clips, and I repost it for you, because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.